Like, what in the world happened? Chinga madre!
I have some words for it.
Girl, seriously. Like,
I wish we could.
Seriously. Go away. I have no time for you. Go right now. Go. Preacher, you're the one who did that. Sorry, y'all. Preacher knocked my cord and unplugged us. You go and you sit over there like the bad dog that you are. My bad, y'all.
Are we back on?
Yes. Good God. Get away from my cords right now. You go lay down like a good dog. Sorry, y'all.
Good God.
Preacher done with my cord, man. I done tripping.
Y'all must have missed us because we have like 1,000 views.
Rah! Had me irked, y'all. Okay, all right. Anyway, Preacher's bad dog apparently right now. He's sulking in the other room. So, okay, so for everybody to know, Kashmir is leaving. She's not staying. I kind of wasn't 100% as clear as I should have been on that video, but she is, and so is Pantera. I did get Nirvana's test results back, and she's fine. She had some kind of weird, kind of like a cyst or something like that. I don't know, but it came back. I paid a couple $100 to do, I think it's called the histopathy on it. And it is not genetic, other than the fact that it is more common in some breeds than others, but it's not hereditary in the sense that she's going to pass it on or anything. It's not contagious. It's not going to come back. None of that kind of stuff. So anyway, so Nirvana's great. I did speak with somebody about Pantera, about taking her. We'll see what they say, if they're going to do that or not. And Trinity is coming back to kind of take Kashmir's place. Not obviously literally, but it's figuratively speaking, that's what's going to happen. So I hope that's clear. Reese's new channel, Sprezzatura. Connor is putting the link to it. Thank you very much, Connor. You're awesome.
All that stuff will be
you rock.
Over. I wanted to announce it before I changed.
Yeah. Can you watch TV? That would take internet.
I know, that's what I was saying.
We have no internet to spare right now, child. I am a dork. Thank you, Emily. Finally, somebody sees me for who I really am. So yeah, I can't touch anything right now. I'm too scared. Savannah wants to watch TV, but I'm scared to let her use any of our internet. So yeah, that's my bad, y'all. My dog touched the internet, and apparently if you touch my computer while I'm live streaming, it decides to just go away. It's very...
Let's talk about some breedings. Some upcoming breedings.
So,
Everybody wants to know if I'm going to use Preacher in my program. I am going to put Preacher to a female that I co-own. Her name is Aria, and that will be my Preacher breeding. I want to see what happens. So if anybody's interested, let us know.
When is that? When are we doing that?
In July. She should be in her 3rd heat in July.
Okay.
She kind of went in early, guys, so we're going to do it on the 3rd heat.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Thank you, Claire. Love you guys.
Oh, thank you, Claire. That's so sweet of you.
We're going to try to become more, I guess, consistent. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard sometimes to link up, especially since the litter was on its way, and
yeah,
I thought it was be on one day, it ended up being on a whole week later.
Yep. And so y'all know, we split all the donations that you guys give for the show. We split it right down the middle. I send her a screenshot of what I get, and then I shoot it over to her. So just keep that in mind, y'all, that it is a group effort, and I do share, y'all. I am nice. So I'm fair. So anyway, so yeah. Hi there, honey bear. She's bored. Savannah's bored because I won't let her use the internet right now.
I'm so sorry to hear that, lucid dreamer. Prayers out
what
to
happened?
you, girl.
What if I could afford either of y'all's
She
dogs?
has a dog that's diagnosed. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
Lucid dreamer, you know, when it's time, just let us know, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let us know. Definitely.
Right time.
That's right. Yeah, let us know. So yeah, Cashmere's not having any more puppies. I was saying earlier, I did speak with my breeder. He was saying that because of how many puppies that she was going to have and how tightly fit they were, and I'm sure you guys saw, or if you didn't, I posted a picture of it. He basically said that he would have done a cesarean, and that would have saved that whole process. And he said that I could breed her again, but that I would need to do a cesarean. And I had already decided when I went to the vet that I had already told you guys that I wasn't going to breed her again. And so I already have her offspring, and especially with Trinity. So I'm very, I have a big conscience, you know what I mean? Like, what I do in life wears very heavily on me. So I just told my vet, I was like, if anything happened to her, I would feel guilty. I would feel like it's my fault. I would feel like I pushed it too far. I would feel like I had my warning and I didn't heed it, so I was just like, no, I can't do it. So it's truly a blessing that the whole Trinity thing happened. I'm actually really happy about it, because originally we had decided to just kind of move her on. And then after hearing that, Reese hadn't yet. And I was just really happy because I looked at her. Sure, it's not up to par with what Reese is producing right now. But I can definitely work with that, because I have more room, and I love the temperament that I get out of my Preacher Cashmere pups. And so I want to take her, breed her to a different male, and then keep something off of that'll fix the structure the same way that I did with Blondie, so that I can really choose, because like Nirvana's temperament is really good. She's very calm. Pantera's a little bit more energetic, but Nirvana has that really chill, really cool temperament. And then in combination with everything else going on, with her structures great and everything, I'm very happy with that. So I want to try to do some other breedings with Trinity, kind of see what I can get, and really try to preserve that temperament, that great solid temperament, with some really good structure. Because I really prefer a very chill. I don't like the super, super high energy dogs. So yeah. Okay, I'm done. I'm ranting.
Soft sounds. It's not that she's not up to my standard. It's that just compared to the standard and what we would call good structure. I already have dogs here that are more up to, I guess, the standard and good structure, which your structure isn't like horrible bad, but it's just kind of one of those things that, because I already have very good structure, that I'm very watchful about as far as keeping dogs.
Yeah.
And Rachel has more space than I do, so she can kind of experiment in a way to see if she can fix those structural faults. And I just don't have the space to do that. So I try to keep a consistent, good structured dogs in my program. But it doesn't mean that she's not up to my standard. We just have what's called the standard. Yeah. And that's why Rachel moves dogs on herself. She compares to the standard and good structural things, and she compares it to, like, I guess, like faults in her other dogs, and then she decides, okay, well, if this dog has these faults and I don't have anything else in my program with these faults, then it's okay to move them on.
Yeah.
Because it's all about moving forward.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to be like she's not good enough for you. I didn't mean to insinuate that.
You know, it's a really touchy thing, guys. Like, I get it, you know, when you're trying to preserve a breed and breed to the standard. It's hard for people that own pets and they're trying to figure out our world to understand how it works. It's not that a dog is never good enough, because I pet out dogs that are great dogs. It's just that as far as them lining up with really good structure and phenotype to the standard, they don't all the time. So that's why we move dogs on. But it's a very hard thing.
Lay down now. Lay down now. Quit.
Hi, Julian, Angel. So my dogs are not in the front very, very often. And when they are, we have pretty good control. And there's actually more footage past my tree line that we planted than it looks. So they never get out in the road. They're perfectly fine.
No. Thank you, Michelle.
Here, so. Yeah, thank you, Michelle.
Whew. All right. I did not get my Doxy yet. I get her on the 1st of February. Yes, I agree, Andy. I think that she's going to be a lot more relaxed, and Cashmere is truly a very queen dog. You know what I mean? She loves to just be the center of attention, so she'll really love that. So, Christina, no, Trinity will just be mine, because I bred her. So I mean, I did tell Reese that when we breed her, if there was something that she liked off of that she's more than welcome to it. So I mean, you know, we tend to do that. Because we work in tandem, we oftentimes kind of throw each other good stuff. We do kind of have our preferences. And so, you know, so there is that, but we're working towards the same unified goal. So we're not necessarily in competition with one another. So there isn't really the need for that, if that makes sense. Like, for example, like Atari is not a co-own, you know what I mean? She trusts me to have Atari. And if she ever wanted something, she knows that we would just work that out, because she has dogs that I like, that I want stuff off of. So we, you know, like I want a Melina puppy really bad. She knows that. So we just kind of, if we can help each other out, we help each other out when we can.
We will, yeah. We're just trying to help each other out, and the best that we can as best friends, and look out for each other. We both have our own separate programs. And so with that said, are we buffering again, Rachel?
Not on my end, but I don't know. Thank you, Julian. Is anybody else buffering? I didn't touch anything, I swear.
I know. I do have interest in Pantera. Pantera is beautiful, but she's gonna stay in Texas, guys. The co-own that she's going to is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I have some like really exciting breedings that I have coming up, like with Melina. I'm going to be breeding Jade. So there's a lot of possibilities for me to be keeping back from myself. And so that's kind of what I'm preserving for right now. And then eventually, like, I would like to import again. I'm in need of a male. So, but yeah, I love Pantera. I got the fever for Pantera like last week.
Yeah. She's a beautiful dog. I really like her, but you know, I had to make a choice, and because I just couldn't do both, unfortunately. As much as I would like to, I just can't do both correctly. And so I did find a co-own for her. Hopefully, there's 2 people I'm talking to about it as for a co-own. And so they, basically the idea is that they will raise her up. They will get her health tested. They'll champion her. Then they'll breed her to a male of my choosing. And then I'll keep 2 pups off of it. And then they will be able to keep her and have a really awesome champion dog for their program. And they will also, I'll be mentoring them the whole time. So not only will they have this amazing dog, but they'll also have all of the knowledge of what I am looking for. And that way they'll have that. And so they'll also have access to better males and whatnot. So somebody asked if I OFA hips and elbows. I do. Yeah, I do pen hip and I do OFA prelims on hips and elbows because I breed on the 2nd heat. That's before the age of 24 months. But honestly, like it doesn't change that much between a year to 2 years of age. It's either things will get worse, like hips will get worse, which honest to God, like it's not that complicated. When you actually start getting into this and you look at x-rays, you'll know when things are going to break down and when they're not. If you have nice, tight, good formated hips, those hips are going to be good. You know what I mean? You can even look at the statistics involving OFA. If you have fair, those can have a tendency to go down, but OFA good tends to stay good. OFA excellent tends to stay excellent. So, anyway, but we do look, absolutely. We do prelims and we do pen hip.
Keep your dogs or pets healthy weights, guys.
Like, yeah, that's a big thing.
And healthy exercise is everything. It's everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's see, what other questions do we have?
All right.
When will you breed Melina? I will be breeding Melina hopefully February. That's when she's scheduled to go back in the heat. I have very limited space availability on that litter. It's a hot litter, like it's a hot girl summer. It's a hot Melina. It'll be a hot Melina winter because she is all that and a bag of chips. She really is. She's a beautiful girl.
What? Can I help you? No, I'm not gonna pet you.
Does anybody have questions for my program? Because I've had a lot of, I guess, questions on like my Instagram.
Who are you breeding Melina to? I have a question.
Oh, who am I breeding Melina to? So, oh God, so we are going to be doing a breeding with Batista, hopefully.
Okay.
Is the hope. So it's going to be a sangue to sangue breeding.
Okay.
I would like to see how that turns out. There's a few males that I would like to try her out with. So Batista's one male. Then there's a male in New York I'd like to breed her to. So
is that blue sangue dog in New York?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Would a Corso make a good psychiatric service dog?
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Reese, do you want to?
So when it comes to the Cane Corso, our breed is still in recovery. And really the temperaments aren't consistent across the board to each kennel individually. So I personally wouldn't think a Corso is really fit for all service work. Maybe like emotional support more so than anything. But if you want a good, reliable service dog, guys, like lab and lab poodle mixes, they seem to be more consistently good for the work.
Somebody asked, I got triggered. Somebody asked, do you leave the ears natural?
We do not like to leave the ears natural if we can help
natural.
it.
natural.
If we can help it. Like I had one female from this last litter that I left natural, but for there were reasons why I did it, not because I wanted to. But it's so much healthier to revert back to nature, guys. And nature has dictated that animals like dogs, like canines, should have erect ears.
All animals have erect ears, all of them.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about leaving ears, yeah.
Unless you're like a herbivore or whatever.
No, even rabbits have upright ears.
Oh yeah, they do. So
everything.
Like domestically,
that's what I'm saying. There's no animals in nature. I've looked. Believe me, there's nothing that has floppy ears. Everything with floppy ears, we made floppy. We made floppy. Yeah. So you want to talk about natural ears? Natural ear is an upright ear. Unnatural is a floppy ear, right? That's a genetic mutation. So don't get it twisted.
Yes, Billy is natural. I would have loved to have cropped Billy, but I could not. I was not able to do it.
Yeah.
But she is natural. But she will be the first one and the last one in my program natural.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said elephants ear canals on the outside, y'all. On the outside, not behind the flap. On the outside.
Oh boy, yeah.
So yeah.
I don't want to get her popping tonight.
Yeah, y'all don't want to get me started. I've had my coffee. I'm ready to go. Okay, I'm ready to go. So don't get me twisted.
You don't want to do it.
So, yeah, I get so annoyed by like people who think they know and think they're doing the right thing, but they never bothered to actually do any research. So they're just like, just like I call it regurgitating the crap that they've already heard. And it's just like, don't go there. Don't go there. Please don't go there. So,
somebody asked, why do I only have one male? It's popped up many a times. So in breeding programs, females are very important, and I have carefully selected and sifted through my females first. I do have one male, and he stayed here because he's a phenomenal male. He's the son of a junior world champion. So that's why I have Achilles. He has excellent temperament, structure. He's very confident, very cocky dog. I will only keep males, guys, if they're phenomenal. And so, and with that said, a lot of breeders, I know breeders that's been doing this a long time with the Corso, and they don't keep a whole lot of males. So it's not uncommon, and a lot of the times we find ourselves outsourcing for males. There's so many males out there that people have that are nice and they're health tested and they're champion. So, but I've focused on my females. But I will be acquiring another male, but he's got to be really nice. Reese, are your lines Italian?
Bro, you saw that? All the explanation points. I was like, bro, relax.
Yeah, let's talk about my lines.
There she goes again. Reese, are your lines Italian? Jeez Louise. Thank God.
I have some of the best lines, guys, in the United States. Very, very nice lines. And like I said, I have the son of a junior world champion. So, and Katana is a champion herself. I imported dogs, and I only have one dog here that is like a quarter American. But most of everything that I have has been imported.
Yeah. So yeah, and I mean it's kind of a trick question. Like if somebody imports, or if they have lines that were imported 5 years ago, but they've been bred in America, well, what are those? Are those American lines or are they Italian lines? So, it's very few dogs. Technically, if we're being 100%, when we talk about American, we're really talking about very few lines that go back a long time ago, not really like anything recent. So thank you, Henry. So
I have some,
yeah.
I'm working with some really nice lines. So,
Yeah.
my lines aren't a problem. And Rachel has acquired the same lines now. So we're both working with very similar lines.
Yep. Yeah, even my lines that are not the same as hers. Yeah, and even my lines that are not the same as hers are very old, well-known lines. So so we both Nirvana just had a bath.
So I think the only lines that I don't have in my program that Rachel has, even Preacher's lines. I think Conan is a similarity, right? Is Conan in Preacher's lines?
I think he's got. I don't think so. Let me look at his lines real quick.
So Achilles comes off of some really old stuff. I think in his pedigree, like in the first 4 generations, there are like 5 world champions. And whenever you have like world champions, they were like very used. A lot of those dogs because they were proven, they were world champions. So that's where we can usually find our similarities.
Yeah, mine.
I will go to Westminster one day. That is my goal. I'm definitely, I think, very close to producing as far as structure, something like near perfect. I think I'm just working on my headpieces. Really, that's what I want to do and refine.
Yeah.
Some areas.
So like Preacher has a lot of like Della Porta de Pinta. That is a really old line that a lot of people were using back in the day.
I don't have any Pinta, but yeah, that is a very that's a good kennel, guys. If you need to, I guess, shorten your muzzles a little more. If they're too long, you go to their stuff, the Pinta.
Yeah. So that's like Preacher is just Preacher has really old lines. Like I mean, obviously they all have old lines, but like he has just stuff that has not really been modified very much, if that makes sense. So and like I think I told you guys about the fact that in fact, I'll even put his pedigree up there because I don't care. This is actually not his pedigree; it's his sister's pedigree, but they're blood sister. It's his blood sister. So this pedigree is his pedigree, even though it's for his sister.
Yeah, same litter.
Right.
Same litter.
And
so they have the exact same pedigree.
And on that pedigree, on the father's side, so on his name is Rocky. That is what Velocity has been line bred off of. So looking at Velocity, you'll know that like when you line breed, in fact, she's more of an inbreeding actually, you get a very concentration of what's in that blood. And so she is very, like, in fact, the dog that I specifically was going for on her was a dog by the name of Jordy. Not really the best picture of him, honestly, that's in this, but he goes back to really old school Deldirium dogs. So he goes back to Quairon and then David and Flood. And so it's all very traditional, good stuff that I really like. So, you know.
Well, that's a similarity because I have mine go back to that stuff too.
Yeah, honestly, most European Corso go back to this stuff. Mm-hmm. Not all, but most good dogs do. So
that's where you'll find the similarities. But we're both working with some of the best lines I've ever produced, and you know, both of us have, you know, I think respectable programs. So whether you go to her or I, you know, you'll get a quality dog that we both stand behind.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. We both do. and they're very reliable lines. They're very known lines. They're common to some degree. So, you know, they're I would call safe lines. There's a lot of dogs out there that are being bred that are kind of like scatterbred, and like these are not. These are very just, you know, good old fashioned lines. As you, it is a rare breed, and it was even more rare back then. So that's why I say that these are very, Preacher's lines specifically are very well-known traditional lines. You know what I mean? Most Corso have them somewhere in there. So so anyway, yeah, enough about that. So thank you.
Are your lines Italian?
Yeah,
Yes.
I am. Ah! Yes, exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. For real. So anyway, yeah. Okay. Quit it. Quiet down, cat.
Oh, yeah, this is a rant, guys. And we have ranted about this many a times, you know, and it's gonna get to the point where I think Rachel's gonna paint the dog.
What?
But you know, we get phone calls and people call demanding a color, picking a dog off the color.
Oh God, you guys.
If you love this breed, if you want a Corso because it's a Corso, don't pick the dog based off the color.
Please.
I never got into this breed based off of the dog being blue or black or brindle. Historically, this breed is a brindle breed. That's why dominantly there are a lot of brindle Corso out there. So it's very ignorant to just pick a dog off a color. You need to really look at that dog's temperament. Temperament is everything, and please believe me when I tell you, you will mess up and not pick the right dog, and you'll get a dog in your home where you're like, what the heck did I buy? I paid $3,000 for because you picked off a color.
Yep.
Sometimes the best dog that suits your home is not the dog that you imagine in color. Don't go off the color, go off the temperament, health, and quality altogether, guys. And your breeder will stick behind you in your decision when you make the right decision for your home.
Yep. And you guys, like, I literally had somebody who was on another, that they were on a Preacher Cashmere litter. In the future, since I'm not doing that breeding again, I contacted that person and I was like, hey, I'm not doing that breeding again. I have 3 puppies available on this litter, females, or you can go to a different litter. And that individual basically was like, if they couldn't get, first of all, they wanted the only blue male that I even have in this litter. So they wanted me to basically say, F you to everybody that's already on the list. This one guy, you know, Mr. Entitled, wants his blue male. And thank you. And then whenever I told him no, obviously, because I can't do that, I was like, there's these other litters are great. I said, what I got out of Blondie was structurally better anyway. And he was like, I'm not interested in Blondie or Velocity. And I had told him before, I was like, you can't choose. I'm very clear with everybody. I can't guarantee color. I don't breed for color. The only person that can guarantee you're going to get a blue dog is a person that's breeding immorally, meaning that they're breeding blue dog to blue dog. That's the only way you can guarantee you're going to get a bunch of blues. And that also means that that person is irresponsible because they're breeding recessive genes together. And so they're giving what you want while also sacrificing the health of their lines.
Exactly, because there's a lot that goes to this genetically than just the color.
Exactly.
There's a lot there's just a lot, and a lot of people don't realize that the Blondie and Achilles litter was actually the best that Rachel has produced up to this point. I guess in structure and type, that they're phenomenal. Not taken away from Preacher and Cashmere, but just moving forward they are the next level. And so to me, it was it's very ignorant to just pick off the color or pick off of one dog. Like, I understand that people love Preacher and they want a Preacher puppy, but it takes two to tango. And there are puppies that are going to look like the mother, look like the father, behave like the mother, behave like the father, and sometimes even behave and look like dogs that are back in the pedigree. So it's more complex than just what you see. And keep that in mind.
Yeah. And literally this guy was basically like, if I'm paying top dollar, I deserve what I want. And it's like, I couldn't believe that he'd even gotten through my application process. I was like, how did this guy slip through the cracks?
He slipped through the cracks.
Yeah. And I was so dismayed. I couldn't believe that this individual was so dead set on wanting color. Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I think that's, like, I'm going to kind of go out on a limb right now and just be like, look, like, that's a problem. Like, fixating on a color is a problem. You know what I mean? Like, if that's all you care about, how can you be a good owner? If your love depends on the color of the animal being correct, like the one you want, like, really, bro?
There is a way when you're purchasing sight unseen, because now everything is done by, shipping the dog or done over social media, internet, email, whatever, phone. Rely on your breeder to select the perfect puppy for your situation. The breeder is with the puppies every day. The breeder is assessing the puppies every day. And the breeder knows which puppies will suit each individual home. And that's what I always ask my buyers, all of my buyers. Trust me to help you make that pick. And I will give you options, but ultimately, if you explain to me your situation, your dynamic, I will bring the best puppy to the table. And to me, it's about the success and not setting that puppy up for failure. Like, I don't want a person to come to me and say, I want the black puppy. And I have the black puppy, but the black puppy is the driving one.
Right.
And that person has children and it's more laid back. And then they have the dog. The dog is beautiful. That's all they wanted. But it's the dog's drive and energy is too much for the family. And then ultimately you have the situation where the person calls, or like, this dog is just too much. Like, I want to give it back and I want a refund. Those are the situations that we try to avoid. So always trust your breeder. Explain your dynamic, your family, your house, what you do, and trust your breeder to help you make the decision. Paying that money, that's part of the service.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is it's like this is not a car purchase. I get it. If you want a specific color of car, totally understandable. This is a living being. If you are so concerned about such a superficial thing, the odds are that it's an indication that you're probably going to be just as flippant about the dog's well-being as you would about which one you choose based on, you know what I mean, on color. It's just, I'll hate it, to be honest. I hate it. It's pardon my French, but
when I get people like that, I just
so many people just
I turn them off.
Yeah, I want a blue dog. I want a blue dog. Like, this is a living being. Living being.
Rachel and I got into this not because of the color of the dogs. We got into this because we love the Corso for who they are, mostly in the inside, and we love the outside, but the color is, for me personally, the least important. I don't even think about color. If you look at my program, I don't have a blue dog.
Yeah.
I do have a Formentino dog, Katana, and I championed her. She's a beautiful dog, but she's one of few very nice Formentino females. Because in the show world, as far as phenotype and good structure, the Formentinos, the Blues, the dogs that are dilute don't usually they don't usually inherit all the genes for proper structure. So when we do have that come along, it's not common. It's actually rare. So that's why I'm in it, guys, for the dog, because I love the Corso. So if you contact me, if you're looking for a specific color, don't call me.
Yeah, like seriously, just don't. Yeah, like literally, do not. I'm so tired of it. I'm just so freaking tired of it. People just, well, he really wants, blue, and I'm just like, bro, like, I understand liking color. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I love the black dogs. You know what I mean? But I keep the best dogs that I can, no matter what the color is. And it's just one of those things where, like I will move in the direction to maintain options. You know what I mean? Like, if I see, like, for instance, there is a nice blue dog out there by Sanguine Magnifica. Both of us have looked at this dog. We know about this dog, He may very well be incorporated into our program, and he may very well throw blues. Does that mean that she and I are going to pick the blue puppy out of it? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like,
less likely.
Yeah, we're going to choose the best dog. Like,
the best dog.
Yeah, we're going to choose the best dog. If you want to go to a crappy breeder who only breeds for color, by all means, but that's where you're going to get your skin issues. That's where you're going to get your temperament issues. That's where you're going to get your breeder that doesn't adhere to their contract and won't take the dog back and cusses you out and blames you for everything whenever something goes wrong. I mean, you can't have it both ways. And the reality is that if you just trust the breeder, like I tell people this, I had a woman who was on my list. She was second to last. There were 2 puppies left, a blue puppy and a black puppy, but she had anxiety issues. Thank you, Jeff. And so she told me she had anxiety issues, and I knew the blue puppies were like, they were crazy, right? They were not crazy, but they had a lot of energy. When it was time to go to bed, they were the last ones to go to bed. They would fight it. They'd pick on the other puppies. I knew that these puppies were going to need a lot from her. And if she ever had an anxiety attack, that dog would probably only make it worse, right? She wouldn't be able to relax, right? But the black puppy, super chill, super calm, super confident, just, wouldn't take no crap off nobody, but didn't feel the need to start any, just a really great dog. But she wanted the blue one. I spent an hour talking to this girl, trying to convince her not to take the blue puppy because she wanted the blue puppy. Then she took an hour talking to her family about it. Sure enough, she chose the black puppy. She has thanked me a couple times because she's so happy that she took that dog. And the blue dog even went to a full-grown man who has all the time in the world, and even he struggled with that dog. So I'm telling you, man, trust us. Don't go with color. It's a huge mistake. It's a huge mistake.
And I'm going to be honest with you. There are a lot of other breeders that are breeding on a high level, and they will not entertain that type of thing. They will not entertain it. So we are not the only ones. We're in it because we love the breed. Is it fun to produce different colors? Absolutely. Like, I produced some stuff that in this last litter where I was like, wow. I even was talking to Rachel. I produced a how would I even describe this? A predominantly red fawn brindle.
Yeah.
The only brindling was in the inner thigh. And if I hadn't have seen it, I would have never known that she was a brindle. But her entire body is just solid red fawn. And then this litter, I had a gorgeous, just, oh my God, phenomenal carbon fawn female.
Yeah.
I nicknamed her Pudge, and I still didn't, you know what I mean, keep that dog.
Yep.
Because I'm picking for the next level. Doesn't mean that dog doesn't have the best personality. Absolutely not. Some of my pet dogs have some of the best temperaments and the great health, but because their phenotype isn't exactly what I'm looking for, I have to place those out. So take advantage of those dogs.
Yep.
They need to be placed out because they're phenomenal when we have them available.
Yeah. The reality is if you get the right dog for you, you will love that dog, and you will grow to love that color. And it won't matter if maybe you didn't want that color. Like when I bought my last dog, Terrible, I didn't like the color red brindle. I always wanted this very rich red, like a Irish setter, right? And these were red nose pit bull band dogs, right? And sure enough, the whole litter was red brindle. And I was just kind of like a little disappointed, whatever. But, you know, I knew that I was picking for the bloodlines and all that stuff. Turns out literally one of my favorite dogs. And you know what? When you really love something, you love everything about them. And so I loved the red brindle. I ended up loving it. I ended up thinking that it was beautiful, and it added this dimension to the dog that I really had never expected. And so just trust us. Let us guide you, knowing your life, to the right dog for you, and you will be so happy. I promise you, you'll be so happy. It'll be an amazing experience, and it's the best way. The worst way is just to pick off a generic. It's like dating somebody. Yeah, it's superficial. Yeah, it's like, well, I like blondes, so I'm just gonna date every blonde that I see. You really think that's gonna work out for you? No, honey, it's not. You need to date people off personality. You're going to live with this animal for up to possibly 13, 15 years, for who all you know. You better like them. Otherwise, it's not going to be very fun. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Make positive choices, y'all. Positive choices.
Jeff, thank you for your donation. Hey, Reese, how many years have you bred Cane Corso? Your knowledge of the breed is impressive. Thank you, Jeff. So for many, 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 many years, my family bred Siberian Husky, and I was very involved in that. And I acquired my first Cane Corso. It was actually 2013. And from there, I talked to some of the most well-known breeders in the United States and overseas, and I just took a long time to learn and acquire knowledge. And then I started acquiring more Corso and really taking my time in my selection. That's why I have the number of females that I do have here. And so I actually finally, after years and just hard work of sifting through and getting involved in the show world for these dogs, I finally bred my first litter, produced my first litter. It was the winter of 2018. So that was my first litter. So I'm now down my second litter, and I'm heading to my third. So I've been involved in the breed since 2013, and I've only been breeding and producing since winter of 2018. So I'm officially off and going after a long road of selection.
Yep. So, let's see here. What is y'all's opinion on Will and Mabel? I've seen some people ask that. I don't know what that's about.
Who is Will and Mabel?
That's right. Somebody asked me. I think that's who. So somebody contacted me. I think the dog, he had wanted it. He's in the UK, and the dog died of a heart attack very early.
Yeah, a Cane Corso? Or?
Yeah, it was a Corso. I'll be honest with you. I do watch a lot of YouTube, but I don't watch a lot of pet YouTube. I watch like horror stuff about killers and
I will say that
like random stuff.
In regards to a young dog having a heart attack, there's probably some sort of congenital heart thing, defect. And usually when that happens, a reputable breeder will replace that puppy at no cost other than transport for the person. That's what I would do. That's what Rachel would do. So it's most likely that the dog had a heart condition, and it should have been covered under a warranty if there was a health warranty. But we cover those things for 24 months.
Yeah. They should warranty that puppy.
Yeah.
So
that's my only opinion of that, because I really don't know.
I mean, if they had if he bought the dog off some random person for cheap and they don't have a contract, then they may not. You know, like good breeders have health guarantees. Not all breeders do. So I don't want you guys going over there and, like, if you know who we bought the dog from, harassing them, because I can't say that they should or shouldn't. We're saying that good breeders do, right?
Yeah.
You know, so
and things happen too. Like, that's out of our control. You can have things happen in your litter where you produce like maybe 8 litters, and out of your 8 litters you produce one puppy that maybe has a problem, and it's nature, you know. And that's why we have these warranties, to protect the customer and ourselves. So, you know, that there is an understanding that, hey, if this happens within 24 months, then, you know, I'm covered, I get a new puppy. Sometimes these things are out of our control, and that's why the contracts are in place, guys.
Yeah.
Because even though we try and we test for things and we try to bring along the best help, it's still nature, you know, and nature sometimes will have its way.
Yeah.
So,
but typically most breeders, like, I don't know of anybody that we know of that be to at least 24 months against anything serious that affects the animal's longevity and quality of life. So regardless of whether it was genetic or whether it was the breeder's fault, if he went to a reputable breeder with a health guarantee, they should replace that puppy. I mean,
they should.
Yeah,
and it's more common practice here in the United States, the contracts, because that's just how we roll here in America. But in Europe, like, I would say it's less common, and you really just have to get a genuine breeder that stands behind their dogs. Like, I know that I didn't sign not one dotted line with Sangway, Christina, and she still honored and stood behind her dogs without one contract signed.
Yeah.
And so, you know, in Europe, you'll have breeders that just stand behind, and some that won't, just like here in America. So sometimes there doesn't have to be a contract. Like, I'm standing behind my dogs regardless. But, you know, here in America, that is common practice.
Yeah.
That is what we do. Just so there's a clear understanding, and I'm just gonna be honest, we be suing people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like, here in America, people replace their dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there's a lot of lawsuits in America, and that's why we have contracts, and we just don't do it the old way.
Right.
Like the handshake.
Yeah. I mean, and I thought about it. Like, I don't know the guy. I don't know anything about that. You know what I mean? But I always get very, like, I'm the type that really wants to help people. You know what I mean? So, like, when one of my puppies died, completely not at all hereditary, the dog ingested something, most likely had a blockage and died. I offered to replace that puppy. You know what I mean? So I can't see that breeder not doing that. If they don't, best believe that most likely that breeder is going to get in a whole lot of hot water on the Facebook groups, because if somebody finds out about who that breeder was and the fact that they did not replace that puppy, that's not going to be very pretty for them.
They'll get their turn. That's all I got to say about that. They will get their turn.
Yeah.
So, and guys, like, those who are waiting for their paperwork off of my second litter, I was waiting for my official kennel name change to happen, and I was still trying to figure it out before I sent my paperwork out to those guys. So that, because all of my dogs leave with my kennel name attached. So I just wanted to let people know that I should have those in the mail soon.
Yep.
And Billy somehow is still available. Don't ask me why. But if anybody is interested, like, in a really good smaller female puppy, Let me know. She's a great dog. I reduced her price to a good home. So hit me up, guys, if you're interested.
Yep. Let me see here. Somebody said Senza was, let me see here, was, so Brooklyn, we actually assess structure between 8 and 9 weeks. We will stack puppies up from the get-go, but no, for the most part, a puppy will mature into what it's going to be, or like you'll see what they're going to be at around 8 to 9 weeks of age. That's before they start really putting on their size and they start getting all wonky because they grow different. All dogs grow different. They go through tall stages, which takes away the angulation. They go through square stages, then they get long again, all this stuff. But at around 8 to 9 weeks, you'll actually see what that dog is going to be. So that's why we take, that time to make our final decision.
And sometimes that ain't even the final decision because they can even go through. I've seen dogs that 8, 9 weeks they were beautiful, and then they got real ugly, and then they went back pretty, and then I've seen them start off pretty and end ugly.
Yeah,
it's like
it's true. It can happen.
So
it can happen.
It can happen. These dogs, before you definitely know they're going to stay in your program, it could take some time. The soonest for me has been 12 months.
Yeah.
So that I definitely know a dog's going to be in my program as soon as it's been 12 months.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes longer.
Yeah.
Because it changed so much.
And I think you get better, like, for example, like with me and Giovanni, for example, when I stacked him out, I thought that I knew what I was looking at and everything. And whenever he matured and we started to see these things come up, when I compared his pictures with my most recent litter, I was actually able to see his faults when he was young. They're so small when they're that small, that I didn't see it. It was better than what I had kept previously. But when I compared it to, say, Nirvana and Pantera and their litter, then I was able to see what it should be, right? So sometimes it takes some experience of seeing so many different varieties of the same breed and seeing them young and this and that to really get to see the very minute differences that exaggerate as they grow, that you wouldn't necessarily have been able to see. So there were pictures where his top line wasn't straight, and I just didn't know enough at the time to recognize that for what it was, because it wasn't like super round or anything. But whenever I saw these guys, it was very clear, and I was like, okay, now I understand what I need to see, right? And so it's just one of those things. And it is true with this breed, they can get wonky on you. They can, what we call it falling apart. You can have a dog that just falls apart, and so that's why it's really important to pick very good lines and to know what's in those lines, to look at the ancestors so that you have a very good prediction of what that dog is going to do.
Exactly. Somebody asked about Billy's temperament. So Billy would be good for anybody. She's very well behaved. She's very sweet. She's not really dominant. She's great with small children, older children. She's excellent with other dogs. So if you're looking for, she would be great for anybody that wants a Corso, but specifically maybe for somebody that wants a Corso, but they can't have such a large size Corso, because she is the smallest I have produced at this point. But she's a phenomenal puppy. She's 6.5 months. No, somebody asked, is that why you're not going to keep Trinity Reese? I'm not sure exactly You're referring to what?
Probably the same thing about Giovanni. And I will say that that the reason why I didn't keep Giovanni is because males really need to be almost perfect. You know what I mean? Males are one of those dogs that they can only produce themselves, right? A female can be bred to many other options to fix whatever she has. A male can only put himself out there, right? So that's why you can't keep males that are not really high quality. So that's why I couldn't keep Giovanni, but say I can bring in Trinity, right? Trinity has, I would even go so far as to say, better structure than Giovanni. Would you say?
Yeah. Her roach is not as severe as Giovanni's.
Right. And her head type is better. Muzzle's not as long. Like there are things about her that are better. So, but having said that, I can take her imperfections. I can breed her to a male that is excellent where she's not, just like I did with Blondie, and produce better offspring than both of them. Or not, maybe not necessarily both of them, but I can produce better than the mother. So that's why it's okay for me to keep a female that may not be 100% of what we're going for. You just continue to kind of breed up. We call breed up, right? So I'll have Trinity. I'll breed her to really nice males. I'll keep the best that I can off of her. And then I will, after we breed her, we'll retire her and we'll use her offspring going forward. The only reason why Reese isn't keeping her is because Reese has limited space and she just doesn't have the space for it. So I have more space, especially with me having to get rid of so many dogs recently. Penelope, Gina, Giovanni, and now Cashmere. It's 4 dogs. I can bring in a dog. You know what I mean? Not to mention it's going to be a while before I bring in anything more right now other than my dachshund. I have 2 imports that are coming in. One male, I've already paid for him. I'm just waiting on that breeder to produce a good enough male for me. He did have some puppies a month ago that he said would be interesting. I don't know for sure that's going to happen. I've been waiting, almost since September, actually, since I paid for the dog. But it just, as you guys know, we're looking for the best that we can find, right? So if the pups come out of that breeding and they weren't really what we thought they were going to be, then we hold off and we wait till they do produce something. So he said that he had some good stuff coming. We'll see what happens. They're 4 weeks old right now. I'm not going to bug him right now. You can't tell anything about a dog at 4 weeks. When they get to be around 7, 8 weeks, then I'll start kind of bugging him. And then the other breeder, the other female that I'm going to be bringing in is most likely going to be a ZZ Top daughter. What she had produced out of him so far, she wants me to have something really nice. It didn't end up being that out of those litters. So she advised me to wait. She's going to be doing another breeding, which she had very good success with last time. And so she's going to have me pick off of that, most likely off of that breeding. So these things can, take time, but either way, they have to be a certain age before they can even leave Serbia or Croatia. And so, we're talking months from now. So it's not a big deal to be able to bring in Trinity. And I'm actually really, really, really excited about it. And I think things are going to be going great. So
somebody asked a really good question. S. Elizabeth, do you let people who rent have a puppy or only homeowners? What if I'm renting half the house and have a very good reference from the landlord and long-term pet owners with a lot of experience owning dogs? So my requirement on that is to have a letter from the landlord stating that they will allow a large breed dog into the rental home. I'm fine with that. There are a lot of people that rent for various reasons, I at one point lived beside a dean who was renting a home because he had another home in another part of the state. So there's various reasons why people rent. So as long as I have that letter from the landlord, that is completely fine for me.
Yeah. I think I'll also say that for me, age has something to do with that. I do not, I won't sell a dog to somebody that is, that's young. I muted myself. Hold on. I muted myself because I could hear an echo.
Oh,
but
is there an echo?
Yeah, but anyway, I didn't know. I thought maybe you were watching it in a different way, so I didn't think about it because I'd done that previously. But I guess usually we're on the phone, so that's probably why. But it's fine. So yeah. So if you're in college and you're young and you're renting, I'll probably tell you no, just because you probably have a lot going on, and having a dog probably isn't the best time. So it's for me, it's like, it's one of those weird things where if you're older and you have a regular job and you just have an apartment, that's fine. But if you're just getting started into life and you're 18 years old, you just got your first apartment, it's just not probably the best idea at that point.
Yeah. Just stable situations.
Yeah.
More so require, and really any dog, very stable situations. If you're in college, get yourself a plant or a goldfish until you graduate.
Or a cat. Get a cat. That's what I told this one girl. I was like, just get a cat. Because if you're in college and you're working, you do not have time for a dog. I love you. I appreciate your willingness to want to get a dog, but I promise you, you need a cat. You need a cat right then. You know what I mean? Or a plant. You know what I mean? You don't need a dog. Yeah.
Get you some succulents that require
minimal watering. Get an orchid. Orchids require very little care, very little watering. I know a lot of people get freaked out about them. Let me tell you something. I've recently joined the orchid bandwagon. My orchids are going strong. They're doing good, and they're actually very easy to take care of. All you have to do is just buy the right media. Go to repotme.com. Get yourself some of that Black Imperial orchid mix. Get your
Gold Imperial.
Yeah,
girl,
gold. There you go. Gold Imperial.
That saved my orchids' life. Like,
It's the truth.
Orchids. I even told Rachel, it's like, girl, you're gonna get into the orchids, and you're gonna be saving lives.
Yeah.
Because everywhere you go, you're gonna be picking up orchids.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, no, I would never do that. I don't think so. Girl, you need to tell them what you did.
I did it. I rescued an orchid. I have a house full of orchids right now. Like, I have so many orchids that it's like slightly distracting. Like, you have to look through them to look through the house, because they're like, there's like a wall of them on my kitchen island. I swear, it's like a wall. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 orchids in my house, y'all. 8. Yeah. I do it when I do it big, y'all. Also, I'm seeing some people talking about some other breeders and stuff like this. I do not promote or condone bashing other breeders on my channel. You may not like what they do, but that is not my business. There's other breeders that don't like what I do. I would not want them bashing me on their channel. So let's not breeder bash.
And if you want to know about a breeder, contact them. Tell them that you don't like what they do.
Yeah.
But certainly don't come on this live stream thinking that we're going to talk about them, because it's wrong.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do that.
Yeah, we don't want people doing that to us. We don't want to do it to them. Absolutely. If you guys don't like something or you think maybe something else is going on, I encourage you, contact that person. If you have questions about what they're doing, ask them. Do you health test? If so, can you send me the health results? If they can't, odds are they're not health testing, right? Any breeder that's health testing is usually like enthusiastic about showing you their health test.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Health testing is an extra measure that we do. It's not anywhere in the rule book for breeding dogs, but you will find that the more reputable breeders that have warranties, contracts, and will stand behind what they produce are health testing. So it's more so the right thing to do, but there is no rule about it. So if you don't want to purchase from a breeder that's not health testing, that's absolutely fine. But do understand There's no like rule book on it. We do it because we care about the breed, and it's the right thing to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We're trying to breed better dogs. So obviously we're going to do that. But there isn't any AKC rule that says that you have to health test your dog. So if somebody's not doing it, that's their choice. They don't technically have to. But usually those people don't charge as much. People that do charge more because we have more money invested in our dogs, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there are some breeders that do charge as much as we do. They are not health testing, but if the health testing is important to you, which it should be, you should certainly ask. You should ask them. That's part of what you're paying for.
Exactly.
It should be if you're paying that cost.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I ask for the health results on dogs. You know what I mean? I do. So, it's something that I think is important, but like I said, you guys.
As a buyer, do your due diligence, and anything that you are concerned as far as purchasing a dog, ask those questions, because nobody is obligating you to put down a non-refundable deposit on a puppy that you're unsure about. So, it's just as much as your responsibility to do that due diligence and do your research and get the questions to ask. As much as responsibility as the breeders as well. So it's both sides. Ask your questions and make it a priority before you put that money down.
So somebody said, can we bash on puppy mills? Well, I'll say this.
I would not recommend buying a Cane Corso or any dog from a commercial like puppy mill because they don't warrant any help.
Right.
They charge way more, sometimes way more than what we're even charging for the dogs, or way less. And there's just no guarantees. And a lot of the time, just where the diseases are coming from. So I personally would really tell people, like, stay away from puppy mills.
The thing about it is it can be hard to determine what a puppy mill actually is, because a lot of people consider a puppy mill somebody that breeds a lot of puppies. That's not what a puppy mill is. That's somebody that has a high production rate, and you may not like that, but that's not a puppy mill. A puppy mill is somebody that has all their dogs. They're typically either outside or maybe they'll have them inside, but they're not taking care of them. They're mass producing puppies that are unhealthy from parents that are unhealthy. They're usually kept in very poor conditions. And there's just no real plan. They're just mass producing puppies for no reason, right?
Multiple different breeds. And
oh yeah, it's a big warning sign when they have tons of different breeds. Very, very bad warning sign.
And sometimes these facilities are very clean because they're USDA inspected.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing is like, so there are these, there's two different kinds of puppy mills, right? There's the traditional one I just talked about. Then there's the other one, which is they have these beautiful facilities, right? These indoor kennels, they're all air conditioned. And what they do is they are USDA, like what she said, certified. And it's the same thing though. They just mass produce puppies with no real kind of goal or no real purpose. The dogs are not.
Distribute the puppies to pet stores.
Yeah, a lot of them, exactly. Or they'll auction them, things like that.
Malls,
yeah,
and like pet store windows. Those are puppy mill dogs. If you don't want to support a puppy mill, do not buy them. And then I tell you what they do. They have this program, a lot of them, specifically a big one, a chain. I don't know if I can really say it here on the live stream, but there is a popular chain store that sells puppy mill dogs, and they'll tell the buyer, hey, if you purchase 2 dogs from us and you breed them, you can bring your litter back and we'll sell them for you. And that's very problematic, because there isn't any kind of filtration in what they're doing as far as quality and maintaining integrity and temperament and phenotype. And Like the things that we cherish as breeders that are doing it right, they're not doing.
Right.
They're just producing at the mass load, and then they're telling you to go home and do it for them and bring the puppies back to them so that they can sell them. And that is what defines a puppy mill operation.
Yeah. Typically, like signs of it is like they won't have a lot of times if they have a website, like they won't have their individual dogs on there. If you want to go and view the facility, you usually won't be allowed to. There's very little information about their dogs. It's one of those things where you just kind of have to really dig in and do your research. You don't want to be the kind of person that's doing an impulse buy. If you're doing an impulse buy, the odds are you're going to end up with it's not guaranteed, but you may very well end up with a bad dog. The problem with the puppy mills too is they can't guarantee any kind of temperament or anything like that, because usually they're not doing any health testing. So there
is no pet store selling quality dogs. There are no reputable breeders out there, the ones you see on TV showing at Westminster or the Ookanuba show, or people like us that help test selling our dogs to pet mill operations.
Yeah.
So they're getting these dogs from anywhere.
Yeah.
Usually other backyard breeders that will sell them litters,
right,
so that they can raise it and do whatever they want to do as far as breeding. So that is a good question, because there are no reputable puppy mill situations with good quality dogs. They're never good quality. And sometimes you can buy a puppy mill dog and it live forever, but that doesn't mean that you should support it moving forward. Once you find that out, you should cut it off, cut their funding off, and go to reputable, good breeders.
Yep. And also another version of a bad breeder is going to be, and this is the thing, is not all breeders are like this, but what we call the traditional backyard breeder, right? And so this is an individual that has their dogs typically in their backyard. They don't care about temperament. They don't care about structure. They're just breeding as many puppies as they can. They're typically not health testing. They'll sell anyone a dog, and they typically always have puppies. They usually breed for color, so they'll have all the colors that you want, even if those colors are bad. So, for example, if it's a Doberman breeder, they're going to have the livers, they're going to have the blues, they're going to have the champagnes, they're going to have the albinos, they're going to have all those colors that they shouldn't be breeding but are. And those are signs, right? So it's and not
be mixing those with different breeds.
They do a lot of band dog stuff. Yeah, a lot of band. They'll sell you. You usually know when they're real bad when they sell you a puppy, but they'll sell it to you cheaper without the papers. Typically, that's not a good sign. Not always, but that's usually not a good sign. So there's none of this is like concrete, but ultimately, they should know a lot about their dogs. They should know a lot about their lines. They should have a guarantee for the dog. And they should care. You know what I mean? You should be able to go look at the property. You should be able to interact with their dogs, at least see their dogs, like things like that. So it's just one of those things. So
and there should be very specific questions that when you ask a breeder, they should be able to answer, like regards of temperament and the health testing. So, do your due diligence, do a lot of research, jot your questions down. So, because if you're going to spend the money, even if it's $800, like I know that's a common price for some breeds of dogs that are popular. It's still your hard-earned money. It's no reason to cheat yourself and be impulsive and just buy the first dog you see that you want.
Right.
Really, really take your time and spend your money wisely, because any type of money is hard-earned.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And it may mean you have to wait. You know what I mean? You may have to wait. It's one of those things where you're not, that's why I said, if you're trying to do an impulse buy, you're probably, there may be some breeds you can do that with. Labradors, golden retrievers, things like that.
They're plentiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of breeders of them. And so,
but in this breed, it's very troubling to me when I get somebody that calls and they're like, oh my God, I want a Corso and I want one now within a week. And if you don't have it, I'm going somewhere else. Well, bye.
Yeah, good luck. I tell them, good luck. I laugh about it. Good luck.
On the Molino litter that are still waiting. Like they've been on the list for over a year now. They realize the quality that's going to happen out of that litter. So, you know, you're not hurting us.
Yeah, no, yeah, literally, yeah. You're hurting yourself. Exactly.
You know
yeah. Good luck. That's what I tell. Good luck. Because I'll tell you what, I've rehomed more dogs out of my program for temperament than anything else. If it's one thing I've learned about this breed, the number one mistake that you can make is an impulse buy. Every time I've ever done it, and I have, Seneca was an impulse buy, and Reese knows.
Every time she's bought a dog, and I would always call her out on it, or she had a dog. Like, there were dogs that Rachel had when I met her, and I'm like, girl, you can't. She's like, I am. And then she ends up not keeping them, you know, and she's learning that.
Yeah.
And everybody has to learn. Like, you have to be very patient with this breed, and sometimes the quality litters, a lot of the times, the high quality litters are the ones you have to wait for.
Yeah, and that's
Cheryl Kitchen waiting 8 months for a litter is not odd. And number one, trust the breeder. If you don't trust the breeder, don't put your hard-earned money down.
Yeah.
You always should trust the breeder. So,
especially if they're transparent. Like, I get it. Like, when I was waiting for Belladonna, that breeder had a lot of bad reviews online, and I didn't actually buy from that breeder for a long time because of it. But I had other dogs that had their lines, and so one day I trusted them enough, and I paid full price for a breed quality dog. And I was very specific about the kind of dog that I wanted from them, because they breed for a different type of dog. They like the more hyper type dogs than what I do. And so, you know, they had some things happen. They had some breedings that didn't take, things that, like, whatever happened. And it was about a year until I got Belladonna. And the thing about it is, like, that can happen. You guys have seen it. I've had people that have been on my Preacher Cashmere litter, like the next one I was supposed to have, for almost a year now, and it's not happening. And I'm lucky that I am as transparent as I am. You guys see everything. So they can't get, like, really mad at me and be like, you're lying, you're blah, 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 because what I do is open for everyone to see. But not every breeder is like that. Okay. So they may really be being honest with you. Something happened and it didn't work out. That is the reality of breeding, right? Like, they're animals, they're living beings. We can only do what we can do. And
sometimes plans that we have, like, nature has it another way.
Yeah. And we can't just, we can't just refund every single deposit, right? Because we have bills, we have everything going on, right? We can't do that. So you go into it knowing that. That's why it's important to choose your breeder very well, so that you know that you're getting a good dog and that you're getting a good breeder. And that way, whenever you do finally get that dog, you'll know. Like Belladonna, I love her. She's an amazing dog. She's wonderful temperament. She's everything that I wanted, and I got it, and I had to wait. Every dog that I ever waited on was a fantastic dog.
Dog. And I would say, guys, when you're picking a dog, don't pick the litter you want to buy from based off of one dog. You need to consider the mother and the father of the litter. You know, don't buy just based off of one dog, because it takes two to tango. And if you have human children, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
The results are not just black and white. They don't just run one way, white. It takes two. So I think we are done with the rant.
We're never done ranting.
We're never done ranting. That's right. We're never done ranting of the rant. We invented that rant.
Yep. Yeah.
I said the rant.
The ramp. Hey, man. So yeah. But I mean, as long as they're honest with you about it, like me, I let everybody know when it happened. I tried my best to help them out by offering other breedings, you know, whatever. I can't, you know, I can't force it. And I'm not going to put her through another pregnancy just to make some people happy. I just can't, you know what I mean?
No,
So
no, and trust your breeder. You know, if the breeding that you were hoping for didn't work out, you have to trust your breeder to know that we're never going to do pairings just because. These pairings are well thought out. It's to produce the best that we can produce. Like it was a very bad decision for people to sleep on the Achilles and Blondie litter. Like I just don't get that. Just because it wasn't Preacher, you know,
right.
Because it was Rachel's best litter so far. Like I'm kind of like, oh my God, like you would have to be an imbecile to pass up on the opportunity. And
yeah,
even,
it's crazy to me.
A future Blondie and Batista. Like
Yeah.
you see what she did with Achilles, like you would be dumb to pass up on that because it's the next level.
Yeah. And I know that Christina over at Sangua Magnifica was also complaining about that. She was like, it's so crazy how people only want dogs off of a certain dog, right? So like she'll have something that's better than ZZ Top, but yet the people won't want a puppy off that because it doesn't say ZZ Top, but she's producing better. You know what I mean? Like,
because we're always breeding up, you know, and Christina is competitive, like super, like one of the most competitive breeders in Europe. So
yeah,
she's constantly producing better. Like she's probably already done it. She's probably has something up and coming that's as comfortable as ZZ Top or better. So
right.
You have to understand when we're planning out these litters, it's to get better.
Right.
So it's foolish to pass up on litters when we offer it to you.
Right.
Because you know, as much as we love Preacher, there has been better produced that wasn't out of Preacher.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's true. Well, Cashmere was not for every dog. Hell, pardon my French. For every breeding, I know, right? For every breeding program, there is a best match for every animal, whether it's horses, whether it's dogs, whether it's birds, whether it's fish. There are always going to be pairs that produce the best, right? And Preacher and Cashmere, while they do produce amazing temperaments, great health, I mean, really beautiful dogs, they don't produce the best dogs to the standard of the Corso. And I know that's being nitpicky, right? Like, I'm not producing dogs out of them that are going to break down. You know what I mean? Like, clearly they're not breaking down. You know, I have some. Thank you, Cheryl. But when we're trying to breed to the standard, that's what we're talking about, right? So my puppies out of Blondie and Achilles are much more refined to the standard. So it's kind of like, you know, it's an upgrade, a genuine upgrade. You know, it's like you want to stick with like the Note 2 when the Note 8 is out right now. You know what I mean? It's like, but you want to take the Note 2 just because you like it. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to do, you know, better. And I continue to do those Preacher Cashmere breedings because so many people love them. And there are people that are looking for pets. So it really wasn't a big deal to me. They're healthy. They're, you know, to go ahead and do that. But going forward, you know, I'm going to be breeding up. So I'm not just going to do a breeding just because people want to see it or they like it. You know, a good breeder is breeding for themselves as well as the public, right? Like, obviously you guys matter. Producing good pets matters. But I need to make sure that I'm breeding with the standard in mind and trying to perfect my dogs to that standard. And that's what I did with my Achilles and Blondie breeding. So that's what I'll be doing with Trinity. I know a lot of people like color. We'd already talked about that, but I won't be breeding for that. You know what I mean? If I get certain colors, that's awesome. Great. Super cool. But isn't going to be my goal. You know what I mean? So,
The goal is always to breed up, get better. So if we're doing these pairings, guys, get on them, you know, because every breeding, we are breeding like the next. Like Rachel said, it's like, why have the generation of the first apple, you can have the 11.
Exactly. Yeah. And just trust us. You know what I mean? Like, just trust us that we know what we're doing. Not saying that every breeder is like that, but I would hope that you guys have gotten to see enough from us to know that we have your best interest in mind, and that we're going to be honest with you about things, and about why we're doing what we're doing. So, yeah.
And somebody asked about the temperament. So if you're looking for particular temperament and drive, how do parents that have those qualities matter? I guess I don't understand that question. Do you understand that question?
What was the question?
So if you're looking for a particular temperament and drive, how do parents that have those qualities matter?
So I will say this, that just because you buy a dog from working parents doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a working temperament. So I think that if you're really looking for that, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to contact a breeder, and you're going to have to tell them that you're looking for a working temperament, and you're going to have to tell them specifically what kind of work you're looking for, because different work requires different temperaments. And what we mean by that is, like, a dog that is going to say do bite work is going to need a high prey drive, right? Not a high defense drive, a high prey drive. So, so it is better to contact somebody that that usually is already kind of doing that thing, to be honest with you. Like if somebody was to come to me and say, hey, I'm looking for a good dog that can do good scent work. I mean, I really don't do scent work, so I'm not experienced in that. So I'm not going to be able to direct you to the right dog. I could direct you to the dog with the highest energy that I have, the highest play drive that I have, but that's not going to be any guarantee that that dog is going to be specifically good at scent work. So if you so if it's really important to you, go to them and ask for that temperament.
Exactly. And there are breeders that participate in all aspects. Like I know one breeder that does do a lot with her dogs, like is Dark Horse. She's done work with her dogs like that. Like I know her male, he was on TV recently. Pepe. Yeah, and he's actually produced out of Segway. He's from Segway Magnifica, from Christina. That dog is titled in almost everything. So, you know, you can find breeders that show and help test, and that participate in the working aspect as well. So, and the breeders know what to look for, but you do have to understand it takes time and patience. Just like when we're looking for show prospects, it's kind of the same type of thing. It takes longer to recognize.
Yep. So yeah, so it's good to go to those breeders, and specifically, like I said, just because a breeder is breeding for those things or breeding dogs that excel at those things does not mean that every single puppy is going to have that temperament. So it's important that when you're looking for a dog to do a specific job, that you tell that person, I need a puppy that will excel at this thing. And then they will get you that puppy. May not be the color you want, may not be the size you want, may not be out of the breeding you want. But you know what? If you trust that breeder and they're actually good at doing what they're doing, they'll get you the right dog. So
they'll get you the dog. You have to have trust in your breeder enough to help you make those decisions, and the breeder will almost always put up the best dog, and it's easier for us to stand behind it when you trust us like that. What's another? Oh, somebody, I think it's I love this, Brooklyn Noel. She said, preach, women. We need to get mugs that say that, Rachel.
Yeah.
We need to get mugs great swim.
Yep.
How common is congenital heart defects in this dog? So the congenital heart defects, I would say that I don't know how common they are. You know, I have heard recently of a lot of congenital things happening with these dogs, the heart defects, but you know, anything is possible. And if you have a good breeder, they will stand behind it and replace the puppy for you.
Go away. No, go away.
I will say that in general, large breed dogs are more prone to that, and that's why it's important to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Hi. Who is that?
This is Pantera.
Oh, somebody said, "Hey."
Yeah, that's me.
I'm just like,
Look
what?
at that. What's that, Pantera?
She had a bag.
What is that?
Oh, look at Pantera, pretty girl.
Oh, look at that face, y'all. That's a show face.
She's so sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I love her.
Hit us with the question.
She knocked off my necklace.
Yeah, she is so pretty. Bye, Connor. Good night, honey.
Good night, Connor.
Pretty girl. Oh, she's so pretty. She's mad now. Giving you that stank face.
Stank face.
Stank face. Stank.
Thank you, Apathy.
She kind of looks like Liberty. A little bit.
$20 to see you pull something else out of cash.
Blondie, stop.
That's so funny. I remember that.
Mama,
What?
Blondie treats her puppies exactly like Cashmere does. You gotta do a video tomorrow about it.
Hey, say hi.
Guys, I would love Pantera, but she's gonna stay in Texas. But I do love her. I have some litters coming up, and I'll be like evaluating puppies out of these litters because for a program, one of the most important aspects is keeping back because it's really not yours until you're so many generations in and you're maintaining a certain type in your program. So for me right now, my focus is keeping back out of what I produce over here. And when I get more space, hopefully, you know, we can move sooner than later. I'm really hoping by the end of 2021 that we've moved onto a bigger property, and I'm gonna have a better setup for the dogs, and I can acquire more outside.
She's aggressive about it.
She's cool. But I am planning on importing one more time before I do leave. Hey, Savannah, what's up, girl?
Hello.
You looking pretty tonight, girl. You looking real pretty.
Yeah, y'all see her eyeshadow.
That natural young beauty
Yep.
that I ain't got no more.
You and me both, girl.
Girl, we gotta paint a face on.
Give me my look. Give me the Blondie kisses. So Blondie kisses.
Yeah, I just had to show y'all. This girl right here. I'm telling you, man. I have not produced a head this pretty any time at a Preacher in Cashmere. Not once, y'all. This was only with the help of Achilles. That's why Savannah said, or somebody said she looks like Liberty. That's why.
Yeah,
Liberty is a half sister.
You better be careful. She might mess up your wires.
Oh yeah, grab her. Let her touch a wire. Yeah. Bring me the other one so they can see her too.
Pantera's destruction.
Nirvana.
Y'all, man, it's been a good chat. Y'all hit the like button. It's
Yeah.
been a really good live stream. Give us some likes, the notification, and get on there and bug heck out of Rachel. Like, Rachel, we need you to do these live streams more. Not all do it too, but
This girl is big.
I know. She's got such a stank face. She looks like a mom.
Yeah, this one's bigger.
Oh, she's pretty.
She's bigger. Oh, you're
Thumbs
hitting.
up, guys. Thumbs up.
Don't
At
you
least
look
give
like
us
a
some thumbs up for Pantera and Nirvana.
mama. Nirvana, you're so pretty. She's not big about kisses though. She's not like her mom. She may look like her, but she's not like her personality-wise. Oh, pretty girl. Who's a pretty girl? Pretty girl. She looks so mad and sad. Like she's got this sad face. Jesse. She's sad she probably got a bath. I think it's the bath. You need more milk, by the way.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the grocery store after the live stream.
Really? What time is it? Oh, it's only 9:30.
Yeah, she doesn't.
I actually thought, like, I had this idea for Rachel and I to do a mukbang on the live stream.
Mukbang! It's a mukbang!
Mukbang, food fest on the live stream.
Eating on camera.
Maybe we'll do like all the seafood. Since people like to watch people eat, I know I do. So let us know if that's a good idea. ASMR all day long. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what
y'all
you
would
should try?
just bow down, which guys, we do not mind. We do not mind. Like I will sit here and eat
She likes that
and talk like all night.
Hey, Reese.
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos of the people eating the honeycomb?
Yes, I have seen that. I've seen the woman.
Yeah, the raw honeycomb.
Yeah, it made me actually sick to my stomach. That I could not do.
Really?
Girl, that much honeycomb. Oh my gosh.
I thought it sounded so cool. I really wanted to try it.
Yeah, I think everybody's saying seafood boil. Yeah, honeycomb is like good. I don't think I can handle that much honey on my stomach. That's a lot of honey, like super sweet.
Yeah, she, Nirvana is, so people were asking, she's not a Formentino. She just has a light mask. Don't you put your tongue in my mouth. She just has a light mask. So and that's what we were talking about, how you never get the perfect dog, right? So her temperament, I really like a lot. She's calm, very sweet. Her structure, phenomenal. Her head type is just not as good as Pantera's head is better. Hers isn't like horrible or anything. It's still better than what I've produced off of Preacher and Cashmere, but it's just not, she's just not there yet.
But with that said, like I think when you're starting specifically in these dogs, like, the body is always the hardest part to fix. And the head you can fix more easily. So you'll see where we will pick dogs for structure, but maybe the head is not all the way there. And we will eventually incorporate the head in because this is a head breed. But I think Rachel and I can agree with one thing, that we want to produce the whole dog, but it comes in steps.
Mm-hmm.
It is not something that just happens.
Yeah.
So the process, and if you stay in there with us, you'll see the progression. With each breeding, we hope to get better. Thank you, Chastity.
Yep, thank you, Chastity.
Gracias, amiga, or amigo.
And it's true. It is true. It's
She's interested.
the head is the easiest thing to fix. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't care. You guys saw that, right? Blondie's head type was so bad that, that people made fun of me in the breeding community for even breeding her, for even producing her. Like, people talked so much crap. But as you guys see, none of the puppies from her breeding, from her litter, had her head type. So it's easy to fix.
She's so pretty.
The hardest thing to fix, the hardest thing to fix is the front of the dog, the shoulder assembly. That's the hardest thing to fix. What do you think? I would say the top line's probably second hardest to fix.
I've always heard it's the front assembly, the front and the top line.
Yeah, see, exactly,
and it's not that it's not like, what we mean by like fixing, like those are fixes that like take generations to fix. And even if you do fix it and you have a puppy that has, like, let's just say you have, like, one of the parents have like a bad croup, and you breed to like a good top line and croup, because you know the croup is like a part of the top line. It all kind of conjuncts together. But when you keep the puppy that has the best croup and top line, and you breed that puppy, what we're saying is, even though you fixed it, you may
she still does that. Yeah.
Generations moving forward. And then when you hit like maybe like the 6th or 7th generation, you'll start seeing it like less and less and less until you just stop seeing it. Period.
Yeah.
So that's what we mean by like fixing. So you know, we all have to start somewhere. And nothing's ever perfect, and there's always something to fix. Believe me, like.
But I would say, like,
something to fix.
yeah, like sometimes you'll see these dogs with a really, really steep shoulder lay, and like no angle to the shoulder, and it's just super inverted. I would never breed that. Like, that is just something you don't want to mess with. Some faults are kind of. They should be avoided at all costs.
Yeah, some faults are so major that it has like a snowball effect on the entire structure of the dog. Like from start to finish, the dog is just horrible. And those are dogs that, you know, you'll never fix. You'll never fix it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen breeders complain about being lenient on
Carol.
they liked in other aspects, but had a really bad, like, let's just say, front assembly, and they bred and they bred and they bred and they tried to fix it and fix it and fix it, but it was like that snowball effect, and it was never fixed, and so they had to trash the entire line that they produce and start all over. So, you know, you never have the perfect dog, but you can control where you start.
So I want to show something real quick. Somebody, Carol, actually, I'm really glad to see her.
Her eyes are so dark.
Stream. So
we got the books.
It's teaching time. All right. So Carol asked, what is the top line and what is the croup? So I'm going to show you. Let me try to get a good example of that.
Surprised the dogs haven't fallen asleep.
Huh?
Surprised the dogs haven't fallen asleep.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So.
Coming with the facts, guys. She's hitting you with the ink.
I know, right? So from 2, 3, and 4, that's your top line, okay? Top line is the top of the back, right? So that's the back. The croup is right here. It's number 5, right? It's from where the back is to where the tail is, okay? And so sometimes the croup can be, it can either be short, it can be long, and it can be steep, right? And or it can be too flat. And what we mean by that is that this space here is too short, right? Or it's too slanted, right? So when we talk about Preacher's croup, his croup is too short. So the space here is too short and it's too steep, okay? So that's his problem, okay? Now, when we're talking about the top line being roach, what we're actually talking about is this area right here. There's a slight rise, right? There's a slight kind of kind of a hump there, right? And I'll show you, like, okay, for example, right here, the bulldog is supposed to have a roach top line, right? Roach meaning that it rises up right here. It's circular, right? And the so some dogs are supposed to have that. Not all dogs are. Our dog is, yeah.
There are breeds that you know, break away from what we would consider correct in other breeds. So,
right. Like
be
here.
mindful, and the standards are on the AKC website for every breed that's registered with AKC, and you can see and read the technicalities of each structure per dog.
Right. So like this is, and this is like, this is an example right here. Here's a breed right here, and these are the different top lines here, right? And so here you see where it says, they're talking about the top line, right? So it says, this dog here, the top line is quite unique. The standard describes it as the top line is rather low at the shoulder, having a slight downward curve and a corresponding arch over the loins with a very slight gradual drop from the top of the loins to the root of the tail. And so you can see here that this is most likely, I bet you anything, B is the correct dog. Let's see what it says. Let's see if I'm wrong. Dog A's croup drops off too quickly. That's not the dog. The top line on dog B shows those two areas corrected. The loin is now directly under the arch, and the croup drop off is more gradual. So I was right. Dog B is the correct dog.
Our dogs, you guys, these are the type of things that we are looking for. We're looking for health, temperament, and we're looking for a dog with the best structure that goes along with our standard. And that's our way to preserve the breed and breed to the best that we can, and produce the best that we can. So when we let go of dogs, there's always a reason. There's more science and technicality behind this than just what you're seeing when you look at the dogs in the yard playing, you know?
Right.
So sometimes we have to let dogs go, and that's what we're looking at, because we're in this for the preservation.
I want to show y'all one more thing. So somebody had asked earlier about the upper arm, and we've talked about that. And this is a really good example of the upper arm. Now, keep in mind that different breeds call for different things. So what we want is we want a 50-50. So you should be able to take a line from right here down to the farthest part of the chest, it's called the forechest, and back down to the elbow right here. And it should be the same distance from both, from the tip of the chest here. It should be 50% here, 50% there. It should be even, okay? And so when it's more like this, which you see right here, this dog, which is where it's actually right here, so this is longer than this is, we call that in our breed a short upper arm, meaning that the upper arm right here is shorter than right here. I don't even know what you would call that. Yeah.
And all these things that she's reading you about the structure, the Corso is a working dog.
Right.
And every working dog has a specific job. And so the structure, the way a Corso is built is the functionality of the dog.
Right.
So when things are off, it hurts the function of the dog, the functionality of the dog.
And it actually shows that right here. You'll see here on this diagram. Do you see how the dog with the Dalmatian had the longer upper arm? Do you see how far out that leg is extended versus this dog? This dog has what we call limited extension, right? So this dog is going to have more efficient movement. It's going to move farther and it's going to move better than this dog is, because this dog has a shorter upper arm. That's why we breed for the longer upper arm. So it's not just because we think it's pretty. It's not just because AKC wants it to be in their standard. It's because of the fact that that's what's best. Uh-oh, somebody's saying sound is messed up. Rachel, audio is really bad. My ears are bleeding, my audio. I don't know. Is it still doing it?
Girl, I heard it. It's like a high frequency, and I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't know. There's nothing going on.
Maybe disconnect me and disconnect me back. Is it coming
No,
from
it's not you.
Because I hear it. I muted and I went to the live.
That is so weird. I don't know what to do. Is it better now by chance?
Let me.
It's a high-pitched noise. It stopped. It's better. Lose connection. Unmute now. No sound. Sound is gone. Aliens are coming. Is the sound back? That horrible sound?
Yeah, it's bad. That's bad.
That's so weird. Let me see if that'll work. I put in a microphone mic in. Let's see if that is better. Is that better by any chance? Can you still hear it, Reese?
Yeah, I can still hear it. It's bad.
Okay, I'm gonna restart, you guys. I don't know what's going on.